All right, everybody. So it's Monday. We have Andrew here. He's going to give us a quick mortgage update and see how things are going in mortgage land.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So mortgage rates are still the talk of the town. Fluctuations like crazy. Last week, I believe on Friday, I saw two adjustments throughout the day from three of our big lenders. So, they're just fluctuating. And we've only seen the first of potentially six more Fed interest rate increases so far, and we're already above the average rate that we were expected to see by the end of the year. The chances of them climbing in the next couple of months is probably 100%. I still believe once they get control of the inflation, which a lot of the reports that I'm seeing are saying that they will, and we'll start to see rates drop as well. It's hard to say what's really going to happen. So, at this point, I think what we're seeing in mortgages is we're looking, our lenders are looking at who else they can do business with, which this report today up to you guys is, as realtors, who else can you do business with is probably what you also need to look at. We're not in a market where I'm working with my ideal client, giving them the best rate because rates are at 4.5%. And most of my clients have existing mortgages lower than that. So we're not doing refis, cash outs, except for people that absolutely have a need for the money. Sometimes having the lower or getting the higher rate to get access to a property or access to your equity still does make sense. So that's something to consider when you're talking with, potential new clients. At the same time, I think, as I said, we might not be looking at our target client at the moment because we just simply need more business. So consider what you might be also interested in and maybe add in another segment of clients, potentially someone looking to start investing in rental properties, or people that are now downsizing. We're seeing a lot of that still. And there's tools in place with tax benefits as well as specific mortgages that can allow people to do that. Second homes, Airbnbs. Those are the things that you guys got to start talking about right now, because this today and next week, and probably for the next few weeks, I'm not going to be coming to you with, a magic pill that says we can do 3% rates. And unfortunately, even now at 4%, rates aren't that bad, but we've seen them so much lower. So now that's all we think about. But 3, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, a 4% rate was great. So it's all in mindset. But I think ideally, don't focus so much on the rate. Focus on the problem at hand with the person you're speaking to, and let's figure out if they have the financial strength to get to the closing line to reach that goal that they want. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any specific questions on rates, certain types of loans, a particular scenario with the client, please just reach out to me. Happy to help you.
Well, I can't say it's great news, but it's news, and that's where we're at in the market. I'm seeing a lot of buyers jumping off the fence to try and get into a purchase now before the rates go up any even higher. So, there's definitely still business out there, but just think about what you need to be talking about with them, not focusing on the rates so much. Can we get it closed? Can we get it closed fast? Can we meet the sellers, I guess demands, if you want to call it, on the counter offers with timelines and things like that. That's really stuff that, conversations I think you should be having with your buyers.
There is one question in the chat box, and it's talking about, the hyperinflation, thoughts on that. Honestly, guys, with what's going on in inflation right now, so the way a mortgage works, your client's best and simplest way to defend against being affected by all this inflation is to lock in a mortgage rate on a property that they can acquire as fast as possible. Because if the inflation is based on today, let's call it, I believe it's 6-7% inflation where we're at, and you lock in a rate at say 4.5% on a mortgage on a home that you like and want and plan to live in over the next 3, 4, 5 years, you're now cheating the clock, because tomorrow, I guarantee you, inflation is still going to increase. We know that for the next few months. Nothing's going to change fast enough. But so every day that inflation goes up after you lock your mortgage, you're getting a deal, and you're not being penalized if you do something tomorrow or next week. And so essentially, part of the reason that rates have jumped up is because all these lenders that loaned at 3.5, 3.75 are now trying to recoup a little bit sooner, because they're already losing money. The dollars that they're getting from that 3.5% loan are not as valuable. So now they got to make up for that. And that's why we're at 4%, 4.5%. So now when you lock in that 4.5% tomorrow, next week, next month, those lenders are going to be like, oh man, I loaned at 4.5%, but that interest isn't getting me it's not as powerful because of inflation. So locking in a mortgage is ideally one of the strongest things you can do in your regular life to fight this inflation situation.
I agree. And also, getting into the home, letting that appreciation start settling in, these rates will adjust. They always do. Will we see 2s again? Who knows? But they're probably going to come back down again, more than likely. So they'll have a chance to refi down the road a little bit, probably in the near future, and they're going to have the appreciation to help them out to achieving the better rate anyways. So, maybe those are conversations you want to have with the borrowers about, should I buy now? There's a lot of things pointing to yes. So
no, it's still profitable for sure, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to learning some more about converting online leads. Thanks, Travis.
All right. Thanks a lot. Okay. So with that said, I made a post on, I think, Friday or Thursday in our Facebook group, just about leads and where we're at in the market. And, business has been slower for a lot of agents, I know, and it's not for lack of trying. It's just, you can't sell what's not there, basically. So things require a little more hustle these days to get deals going, to attract more clients, things like that. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about online leads, conversion rates, things like that. I know some of you have tried working online leads. Some of you are currently doing it, but maybe not feeling the success of it that you feel you should be. So I just wanted to go over what I've learned over the years. I've been doing online leads since I'd say about 2005. Now I was generating them in a different fashion, but I was still I was using websites and things like that to generate leads as the magnet. So I've gone through this many different versions and things like that over the years. So I thought I'd just share a little insight of what I experienced through online leads and how I've been successful with attracting them and converting them. So first off, if you're going to be using a marketing plan where you are using online lead generation as your main focus, there's a few things that you should know. And these are things that I see agents get really frustrated with, whether it's a third-party lead provider or they're doing their own through Facebook or Google pay-per-clicks or anything like that. They get upset because the leads aren't contacting them right back, or they can't get a hold of them right away. And I think it's important to know the difference between a prospect and a lead. So most internet leads are not leads, they're prospects. These are contacts that you're receiving through the internet based on some sort of marketing that they took action on. So this means that typically only a small percentage of them will regularly convert into immediate business. So what does that percentage look like? About 0.4 to 1.2%. So it's not a high amount. So this is a volume-based way of getting clients is through online leads. So you need a lot of them so that you can get those active clients down at the end. So this should help give you some perspective as to why aren't these people calling me back and things like that. Well, they're prospects at the moment. They're not leads. A lead would call you back. A lead would conversate with you. A prospect is just a prospect at that point. It's a contact that you've got of somebody who is interested in taking action, whether it's to buy or to sell at some point down the road. So what is a lead? A lead is someone, this is how I define a lead. A lead is someone that you know is going to make a decision in the near future. I like to consider that in the next 30 days. They're ready to get pre-approved, they're ready to start looking at houses, they're ready to do something, get their house on the market, preparing to get their house on the market in the next 30 days. I also like to define a lead as someone that you've talked to, either through text, email, phone, face-to-face, Zoom, etc. What is a prospect? This is how I would define a prospect. Is a contact you have received. Maybe they filled out an inquiry form on a website they're registered on. Maybe it's from one of the third-party lead providers, one of the ones that are not live transfers. I consider these potential leads. In general, they're not ready to buy or sell a home in the next 30 days. They're in the gathering information stage of buying a home, selling a home process. It's important to understand the difference between a prospect and lead so that you can be in the right mindset and have the right processes in place to be successful with your online lead generation. So thinking every contact you receive as a lead is only going to create frustration with your marketing efforts. So we want to get into the right mindset. We live in the information age now. Buyers and sellers have more information than ever at their disposal, and they do their research more now than they did in the past. This is important to remember so that you have the right mindset and tools in place to have the best success with conversions. So today's consumers research many months before even taking an action. They're looking at reviews, they're looking at areas, they're looking at school districts, they're looking at where they're going to relocate, and they're really, really researching a lot more now than they did even a decade ago. Give it time. So most agents are looking to generate leads online via social media or internet searches. It's important to have the mindset of internet leads are not leads, they're prospects most of the time. This means most of them are going to they're not going to regularly convert into immediate business, but that doesn't mean it's a bad lead. Most of them, it's just timing. The timing is not right for them. So you need to get systems in place. Knowing that your prospects may not convert into actual clients right away, having a great follow-up system in place is key to conversions. Without a good follow-up system, otherwise known as a CRM, it's a customer relationship management system, you will waste your marketing dollars and get frustrated. So if you're spending money on Facebook ads or third-party lead providers, but you don't have a follow-up system in place, you're going to be wasting your money because you're going to be losing business of prospects that came in that just the timing isn't right for them. And then, 30, 60, 90 days later, you're not following up with them. They're going to buy or sell a home from somebody, And you want that somebody to be you. So you want to have your systems in place to make sure that you're in constant outreach with them. Make a commitment. I like to commit to at least 6 months of budget and energy when I start something new, especially if it's going to be some, any sort of online marketing. If you just try it for a couple months and you're not quite getting the results you want, or maybe you only get like, one lead that you're actually working with out of the 2 months, and you say, oh, this isn't working that well, you're not giving it enough time. Because again, a lot of these prospects coming in, they're doing some initial research, they're not quite there yet to have full-on conversations with you. So make an effort to have at least a 6-month ad budget, whatever that amount is. You can adjust it, but I would probably set a minimum, and the cost of your follow-up systems in place. A year would be more ideal, but a 6-month works. You're going to make adjustments. So as you're going along, you're going to launch your campaign, and you're going to need to make adjustments with your follow-up, your approach, dialing in your message, and seeing what the better response rate is of your ad that's out there. And then on the follow-up part, making sure that your messages, your value propositions, everything in your follow-up messages align with the ad. So or with the type of prospect it is. Is it a potential buyer? Is it a potential seller? You want to make sure you're sending them the correct information as these leads nurture. So during your lead generation commitment period, you will need to make adjustments to both the lead generation method and your follow-up system. If you're in a set it and forget it frame of mind, you're probably going to experience some disappointment. So making adjustments to your lead gen method will help increase volume and lower the cost per lead. Chances are you won't get your lead generation method performing at its highest level upon initial launch. You'll need to make adjustments often, especially in the first couple months of starting out. Our marketer Leo's on the webinar. He can, I'm sure, fully attest to having to make adjustments. That's his whole thing. He launches it, he makes adjustments, test, adjust the whole time. Set up both short and long-term follow-up campaigns within your CRM before you spend a dime on marketing. So you want to have your follow-up stuff all in place and then start your lead generation method. That way there, as they come in, they're already going through your follow-up process. If your CRM comes with built-in follow-up campaigns, go through each one of them and tailor them to your area, to your personality, to your value proposition, so on and so forth. So, customize them. Little graphic of a lead generation funnel. Basically, this is kind of what we're looking to do. It's, creating advertising, getting traffic over to a lead capture page. In our instance right now, we're using a Facebook lead form as the capture. That goes, feeds into our contact management system. From there, they get into a nurture process. It's text follow-up, it's email follow-up. Some of them get a voicemail drop. And it's also manual follow-up, picking up the phone and calling. They're getting value-added content, or we're giving them market reports, we're giving them fresh properties that are hitting the market. And then what shakes out at the bottom is a high-quality lead. They've been following you, they've been receiving your information. Then all of a sudden they reach out to you and they say, hey, I really appreciate all the information you send. I'm ready to get pre-approved. Do you have any recommendations? Or I got pre-approved. Can I start looking at homes? So that's what we're doing. We have the wide funnel up top to capture everybody. They go through our follow-up and our nurturing. And at the end, they shake out as a high-quality lead. So converting online prospects into leads. So I'd say probably the most important thing is the speed to lead. 82% of consumers expect responses within 10 minutes. For real estate and mortgage professionals, response times need to be much faster due to the competitive nature of this industry. And also dependent on where this lead is coming from, especially, you know, if it's an online lead provider or a third-party lead provider, that prospect could be inquiring with multiple agents at the same time. So speed to lead is crucial. You can call it speed to conversation, basically, the quicker you can get to them. Shoot for a 1-minute lead response time instead of, actually I skipped something. Yeah, you generally have less than 2 minutes after you get their information to connect with them. And this is for real estate and mortgage professionals. That's about the magic window that gives you the best chance to turn a prospect into a lead upon the initial call. The faster you connect with the prospect after receiving the information, the better chance you have of converting them. Shoot for a 1 minute if you can. The quicker the better. A survey reported that responding within 1 minute can improve your lead conversions by 391%. Responding just 1 minute later, so for a 2-minute response time, offers less than half as much improvement at 160%. So that's a pretty big gap just for a 1 minute difference. Each minute that passes like a ticking time bomb that rapidly stunts your conversion growth. Most top producing agents strive to reach out to prospects within the first 30 seconds of receiving their contact information. That sounds ridiculous, but it's no joke. That's how quickly top producers or their staff or their automation is following up with new contacts that come in. This is a fact, and it's important to understand if you're paying for leads from third-party lead providers. Again, many of the prospects, they're inquiring multiple times on one property or maybe one time on multiple properties they're looking at on the internet. Generally, the agent who reaches the prospect first is the one who converts the prospect into a lead. So next, talk to them. Automation is great, automated text messages, emails. You know, a lot of us are afraid to pick up the phones these days. Get a conversation going. They're not truly a lead until you have a conversation with them. The goal is to take the conversation offline as quickly as possible. Until you do, there's a high probability they're going to end up with another agent. Email conversations are very unpredictable in terms of converting prospects into actual clients who would be committed to working with you. Experience shows that prospect that is only willing to communicate initially via email is more than likely not 100% ready to move forward or commit to you as their agent. Work towards having a quick initial conversation with them via phone or Zoom, or better yet, face-to-face at a property they want to see. I will show a property without having a pre-approval letter because I treat it as an opportunity to meet this client and get them tied to me. So I use that one property that we meet at that, you know, they're inquiring on to ask them questions. You know, are you working with a lender? Are you working with another agent? When's your timeline? You know, are you renting? Do you need, you know, do you have to sell a home? Things like that. So that's my opportunity to talk to them. I know not everybody agrees with that method, but I've won more than I've lost by simply meeting somebody at a property. To me, it's no different than meeting at an office, meeting at a coffee shop, meeting for lunch. It's the same thing to me. So that's what I do. A phone call can be a pattern interrupter, and generally you will get more of their undivided attention. This can turn your lead to an actual client who's ready to work with you. I actually just experienced this from a third-party lead provider. It's a referral service, and the referral came across. They send the referral out to 4 or 5 different agents, and then the client makes a decision on who they want to go with. And so I called them ASAP, I had a conversation with him. It was clear he had already talked to another agent prior to me, and maybe even prior to getting in with this referral company. And I started talking to him. He wanted to know about strategy, making offers, like, a lot of stuff. And so as I went through, answering all of his questions, I could tell, I was really, I was reeling him in. So he called me up the next day, said, "Hey, great, we want to go see this property on Sunday. Can you set it up?" I set it up ASAP. I met him on Sunday, and they're gonna work with me for sure. So speed to lead, and we had a conversation. If you are working with a third-party lead provider, contact the prospect by phone within the first 30 seconds. And if you're able to connect with them, keep them on the phone for at least 5 minutes. Why would you do that? Well, this will help significantly reduce chances of them talking to other agents they may have sent inquiries to during the time they were on that third-party website. So if that contact comes through, get that conversation going as soon as you can if you reach them, because there could be other agents beeping in, on the other line trying to get a hold of them as well. And so you want to keep them on the phone and, kind of throw a block towards those other agents out there. Have patience. So for contacts who cannot be deemed a lead yet, remember, ready to take action in the next 30 days. The average incubation period is 6 to 24 months. Generally, I start to see them come alive between the 4 and 6 month, but I have contacts in my database that have been in there for years, and they've been receiving properties, they've been getting updates, things like that. I've had some of them reach out to me after 2 years of being in my CRM. So keep that in mind. This is the information age. The internet is where they start to search, but most are not ready to actually sell or buy for months ahead. So if you're trying to pump out a deal today, from every contact you get, you're not going to be effective with online lead generation, and you're going to experience a lot of frustration with it. To be successful, you need to go and let go of that desire for instant gratification and get into the mindset of business building by expanding your database. So when you have a growing database of prospects in there, it's just a numbers game. You're going to have the people that are immediate, I want to work with you today, and then you're going to have the ones 6 months from now, you're going to have the ones a year from now, so on and so forth, and they're just going to come alive all of a sudden. You're probably not even going to remember who they are, where you got them from. You're going to have to look in your CRM and see how long have I had this prospect in there, but they're watching, they're receiving your stuff, they're watching, and when they're ready, they come back to you. Nurture system. So you must have an effective system in place to nurture online prospects and your sphere of influence with any sort of efficiency or consistency. There's no way you can remember to keep up with all of your clients, all of your past clients, your sphere of influence, your friends and family, new leads, just in your head. If you can, then you definitely do not have enough prospects going on to be, consistently closing. So remember, online leads convert 0.4 to 1.2%. So for every 100 prospects you generate, roughly one of them will be an active client in the next 30 days. Sounds like a horrible number, but online leads are relatively inexpensive. So another 1 to 3 will become active in the next 6 to 12 months though. So if you're generating 100 leads in a month, you're probably going to have, sorry, I said leads, it should be prospects. If you're generating 100 prospects a month, one of them should be active in the next 30 days based on the numbers. And another 1 to 3 of those 100 will come alive in the next 12 months. So as you're building your pipeline, you're adding in 100 every month. Pretty soon in 6 months, you're working with that one active plus one from 6 months ago that all of a sudden came active. So now you're working with 2 clients, and it just keeps building from there. That's how this method works. So in order to effectively follow up and nurture the amount of online prospects needed to convert one into an active client on a monthly basis, you need the CRM with follow-up automation, value add features like IDX e-alerts for the buyer prospects, market reports for your homeowners and seller prospects. So putting the numbers into perspective, Facebook lead generation runs between $3 and $6 on average per contact if you're targeting buyers. Hot homes list, or view homes in your area, that kind of stuff. $3 to $6 generally. For every 300 to 600 you spend, you should be working with an active client and have another 1 to 3 in your pipeline for the next 6 to 24 months. This is roughly the same for the third-party lead providers. More than likely, your acquisition cost per client obtained from these online lead providers will be about $300 to $600 per client, depending on your region. I know if I were to pay a Zillow or a Realtor.com for contacts in my zip code or in a zip code near me, it's going to be about $1,200, I think. It's the last quote I got from Zillow for 4 phone transfers a month. I mean, that's insane. And you're not going to convert all 4 of those phone transfers. Again, these are an online lead. So you might convert one of them. And if you did, your cost is going to be much higher than $300 to $600 doing it yourself. So this is a conservative number. It's usually higher based on the closed lead, as you're paying a premium for the prospects for those third-party companies. They have acquisition costs, they have website management, advertising costs, staffing, rent, all that stuff. So they're charging a premium for these leads that they're doing the same thing basically to get, but they have other overhead. You can totally cut out that middleman and do this yourself very, very effectively. But you just have to be in the correct mindset of, this isn't a lead, this is a prospect, and I need a lot of them, in order to get one to be a lead. I would like to open it up to anybody that has questions. If you want to throw it in the chat, I can allow you to talk, or if you want to talk offline about anything that maybe you've experienced, or what you're seeing, or if you have questions about anything that we went over here. This has just been my experience dealing with leads. It's pretty consistent. I think Leo would probably say the same thing. He did throw some information down the chat. If you want to book a call with him, he has a free call to go over some online leads. We did set up a program now here for Brokerage Leads. If you're interested in that, if you don't want to go through the process of learning how to create the funnel, the ad copy, all that stuff, and dialing it in, or if you don't have that $300 to $600 a month budget, we created one that's just $100. They're Brokerage Leads. We're contributing to the ad spend as well. And so, it's going to be $100 plus an 80-20 split. We pair you with one of our in-house lenders. They're also going to help try and convert the lead with you, because you'll find that sometimes these prospects are willing to talk to a loan officer first and not to a real estate agent. They feel it's less threatening or whatever it is. But I've worked with lenders, well before we had loan division, well before, I opened this company. I would work with lenders with all of my leads. Every time I got a lead, I would send it to a lender too, and we would just kind of tag team them. And sometimes they would definitely talk to the lender first, and then the lender would just give it back to me and say, hey, he's pre-approved, they're ready to go. So it's a good partnership in that sense, to have someone else also following up who's in a different segment of the industry, but still somebody that they're going to need to talk to. It also includes new prospect notifications via email, text, so to speed the lead. So you get notifications as soon as the prospect comes through. It's going to come with the CRM. It's going to have the text and email follow-up automation already done. We have custom campaigns built out from a professional who that's all she does is drip campaign writing for large corporations. She built us 3 2-year nurture campaigns, which we added into the CRM. It also has the e-alerts for the buyers. It has the market reports for the sellers, and a task manager to remind you when to follow up. So essentially, we're going to do all the back end stuff for you. You just have to do the phone call and follow up, really. So I try to make it as easy and affordable as possible. This wasn't meant to be like a pitch for this or anything, but if anybody is looking for a little help or some extra contacts coming through to build up your pipeline and, you know, get using a CRM system to convert not only these leads, but any, you know, past clients you have, any current clients you have, they can all go in here and benefit from the follow-up campaigns to help you convert those leads as well. So with that said, I don't know if anybody has any questions. Again, check in here for Leo. If you want to connect with him, let me know. He can run specialized campaigns for you. This brokerage lead program is for buyers, which sometimes can also be sellers because they have to sell a property in order to buy. So that's all I have for you today. Again, reach out, give me a call. Don't struggle in silence. If you're struggling with lead gen, let us know. We've got a lot of new programs in place. We have Leo. I have a lot of knowledge. We've got a lot of information in our back office, and we can run all your campaigns for you and everything. All you'll need to do is, you know, your manual follow-ups. So with that, let's see any questions. I hope everybody has a great week, and give me a call if you need anything.